What's going on, guys? DubsTheGamer here, and today I want to do a little quick video on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I just recently bought this, and I've been looking online, checking out some of the mods that a lot of people have been doing in the community, and one thing that really has come across my eyes, that you can replace the Joy-Con shells and make them, different colors or transparent and clear, and I really do like that. And I decided that's what I want to go ahead and do. I want to go ahead and put on some replacement Joy-Con shells, and I decided to go with, I know a lot of people were going with like purple or like clear, but since my wife, when she purchased this for me, since she actually did get the blue and the red, I figured, I want to keep those traditional colors. I want to keep the same colors that the Joy-Cons actually came with. So, what I decided I wanted to do to try to make it, look kind of original and authentic. Purchased this on eBay. Total was like $61 or something, because I had to buy two sets. What I have here, I have the red and the blue, transparent, clear shells, and they do come with buttons. And I actually did purchase the red one with the D-pad. However, then I realized that the D-pad would have had to go on the blue one, and it was kind of a little mistake. Now I figure I could put the red on the blue and the blue on the red. However, the problem with that is that the Nintendo Switch itself identifies these Joy-Cons by their color as well. So if you ever look into the menu, I don't want it to say the blue is red and red is blue, and it's a little confusing, especially if you have multiple people playing on the Switch and you're trying to figure out whose controller is for who. So I decided that instead of doing the D-pad, I'm just going to go ahead and just use the right side of the red and the left side of the blue. Also, along with that, I'll set these over here. I've also gotten a clear back case. Now this is the clear black back case, and it looks really well. It looks like it's pretty well made. It has some different writing on it than the other ones, but I think this will be a fun little project. A fun little mod that I can do with the Switch. It's not really going to void the warranty or anything. Now I really do like transparent stuff. As you can tell, I got the PlayStation 4 controller. Now it's not all the way transparent or clear, but I do like the fact that you can see some of the insides. I really like this look for electronics and devices. So that's why I decided I wanted to go ahead and do something a little special with my Switch. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take the camera, and I'm going to go ahead and set everything up, and we're going to start taking apart the Joy-Con and swapping the insides out for the new shells. Okay guys, this is what I'm going to do. I want to go ahead and I'm just going to fast forward this video, mainly because the video is probably about an hour and 35 minutes long, so I'm just going to fast forward through it. Hopefully after the editing it comes out pretty good. Now I want to go ahead and talk about the Joy-Con replacements. I want to let you guys know that it is not an easy task. You really have to be, pretty knowledgeable, or at least somewhat decent at taking things apart like devices, mainly because the Joy-Cons themselves have little tiny screws and components, and you do not want to mess that up. You mess that up, then you might as well just go spend another $40 on a new Joy-Con. So you have to be very, very careful, because these pieces and parts are very delicate. Now the kit that I bought does come with replacement screws, because the screws only for the case itself to hold everything together are tri-screws. And it does come with replacement Phillips head screws, but I figure I was just going to keep everything together, use all the original buttons instead of the buttons that came with it, and the original screws. Now since I decided to do that, I figure, well, maybe it'll be just really easy if I keep everything connected together. It would have been much easier if I had a pair of tweezers, but I didn't have a pair of tweezers, and I don't really have a small electronic kit, so I didn't want to start disconnecting cables, because I knew it was going to be really hard to try and to just put the cables back in, because everything is just so tiny. So what I ended up doing is I just left all the cables together except for one cable that runs up to, I believe, the Z buttons, like the Z left and the Z right. Now I had one issue with that, and that was mainly because the right Joy-Con, the cable that runs up to the Z button, is so much smaller. I mean, it's really small. I mean, you just barely have enough to feed it through from the button to the motherboard itself of the Joy-Con switch. So that's one thing you really have to take in consideration. And I didn't record like the back replacement case, mainly because I started running low on like battery life on my camcorder, and I was running out of space. I didn't really know how much space I had left. I do have a 128 gig card in my camcorder, but I got some footage. Um, so I got a lot of stuff on there I got to go through and take off. So I didn't really want to just, run out of space. But that also took some time, mainly because you have to deassemble the back part of the switch. If you pull the Joy-Cons off on each side of the rails for the Joy-Cons, there's a screw along the back case. There are no screws. The screws are mainly on the bottom and the top. There's like 3 or 4 on the bottom, 3 and 4 on the top of the switch that you have to unscrew. Underneath the kickstand itself has a screw. You have to remove that, and then once you finally get the plate off, you have to take components from the old plate and put them on the new back plate, such as the kickstand has a mechanism. You have to disassemble that and then reassemble it with the new clear kickstand on the new plate. The game cartridge itself has, like a little sleeve or a little cover that, kind of keeps dust and everything out of the game, and for the slot, I mean. So you gotta take that apart, remove it from one to the other. Once you get all that done, it's just a matter of putting the back plate on the switch and putting the screws in. And it's pretty simple. It's fairly easy. That was much easier than the Joy-Cons themselves. And as you can see in the video, I did have kind of trouble getting the button, the Z button, and the cable. See, the Z button itself has like these little locking pins, and you have to use like some kind of tool to kind of like pry that in there to like push it over to the side to unclip, because they go in and they clip. Another thing is they have 2 springs, and that's what gives it that springy motion when you push on the Z buttons. So you have to make sure that you align those springs up, and there's like 2 tabs on both the button and the middle plate itself of the Joy-Con switch. You have to align those springs up inside the mechanism, put the button on there, and then try to, without the springs popping back out, try to slide it over and fit it into the groove and get it to snap back in. It seems fairly easy, but it was a tremendous, and I mean a tremendous amount of time, because you want to be very careful. You don't want to break those clips, because again, you break those clips or you lose something, even one of those springs, you might as well just go out and just buy a whole new switch Joy-Con. But otherwise, it just took me 2 hours, I believe, total to do the 2 Joy-Con replacements and do the back plate. Takes a very long time to do this stuff. You just have to be patient. You just have to be careful. You don't want to mess anything up, because otherwise you're just going to be throwing your money down the drain. With that being said, I want to thank everybody who have recently subscribed to my channel. Anybody who's already subscribed to my channel within the past year, I recently hit a 1-year anniversary. I just hit 1,000 subscribers, which means I can do monetization, which is good because I can use the ad revenue to help buy stuff and products to review for future, videos, future content. So, yes, there will be ads. If you haven't seen them before, you will start seeing them now, unless if I get a copyright strike or a copy claim or some other kind of nonsense like that. But that will help build and grow the channel. And, I thank everybody who's been watching and commenting and giving me likes. I've, had really good conversations with people who I can't even understand their language. I have to use Google Translator when they comment on my videos to communicate with them. And that's what I do. Use Google Translator to put in what their comment is, and I select what I believe is their language, and it tells me whether or not if it's the correct language or not, and it corrects me. It helps me figure out which language they're speaking, and then I can go ahead and type my message in English. It translates it back to their language, and we open up a dialogue. Anyway, guys, so I just wanted to give my big thanks to everyone, and I'm going to jump back to the video. Now, I'm going to show off a little bit of the video. There is no audio. That is mainly because I had the mic muted at the time. But I gotta say that the build quality of these Joy-Con switches and the replacement back case feel really, really good. They feel like cheap, like plastic when you first get them. But once you do the transition where you move components over from one to the other, it adds weight. And that means that it makes the controller feel more full. And I gotta say, I really do like the build quality. I actually like it better than the original Joy-Cons that came with the Nintendo Switch. Not saying that the build quality is bad, but it just has that nice, solid, plastic feel to it, that we all kind of grew up with using controllers. And I really do like that. I really do enjoy it, and I think it's really cool. Now, I'm not going to do like a drop test to see which one is better and whatnot. That would be kind of stupid. But I can just say that it feels really nice, and it just, the transparency of the backplate and the Joy-Cons, they kind of makes it stand out, especially when you're with your friends or your family and they have a Switch and you're like, well, check mine out, yours is unique, which I think is really, really cool. As far as what I've tried to do is I tried to take a shot of the system itself on the backplate where the fan wasn't spinning, and then once I started playing Mario Kart, then once you start doing a race, the fan will eventually kick in because of the the graphics start kicking in. The heat temperature starts to rise on the processor, so then the fan kicks in. So I was able to get a video clip and show that. I flipped it back around and I showed that the fan was spinning. It's pretty cool. You can see all the electronics. That's why I like transparency, like devices, consoles, controllers, even phones and whatnot. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and just comment below, give it a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I am on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Nubs the Gamer. You will find me, and I really appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. Thank you very much.